Now I was in the shed last night and it got cold and I thought, okay, I like the stove, but I didn't get around to it. So I'm going to light the Howto Style burner now today. I didn't light it since last winter, I didn't need to. But now it's cold in the evening and I want to work out here, a bit longer, and obviously I want a bit of heat. So here we go. This is the Howto Style burner that I made, a few months ago. It worked really well then. I haven't lit it since then and I'm going to try it now. So here we go. This is the Makita radio that I converted a few months ago, and it's really good. It's running on batteries. It doesn't cost me anything to run other than batteries, and it's a great stable platform, and it produces light for at least 4 hours. And I just have it lighting up the scene here, if you like. I have another camera on for a different angle, closer into the shot hopefully. I have about 2 gallons of used motor oil in that bucket, and I want to get warm. Now I'm not cold at the minute, but it's going to be cold in about an hour. Anyway, I just want to test the whole thing out just while it's daylight and I can see where I'm at. Check for smoke, stuff like that. But I'll give you a look at the burner. So for anybody who hasn't been here before, this is the burner that I made last winter. Just a few months ago. There's videos on how I made this, but essentially this is a used propane bottle with some holes in it. And this stuff is heavier grade steel and it's all welded together. You can see the holes, you can see daylight through the holes. Okay. So essentially the air is forced through the bottom of this and it comes out these holes. I drip used motor oil into the, the moat, into this bit, into the pan. So the air comes in, mixes with the hot gases, and we get a good combustion. Okay, so very easy to make. You can make one of these in, 20 minutes, half an hour. And if you have a look at one of the other videos, you'll see how I made a prototype out of just a biscuit tin and, dog food tin or something, food tin. Okay, so you can make one of these very easily out of nothing, really, out of just a few bits and pieces, and check it out and see if it works yourself. But the air has to come through the bottom. Like if you put this on something and just light that, nothing happens. So it works a little like a rocket stove. You can actually hear the combustion happening, but the difference is it must get its air through there, and you need a kind of a reservoir, a chamber around it in order to force the air. So, I'll show you here now. Okay, so hopefully you can see this now. There's my hand in the hole on this thing, okay? So at the bottom of this, there's a hole. The air has to come through this chamber, in here, and it combusts then. Right, so this hole is quite big. Okay, at the centre of the hole, I literally just put a hard radius in there. That's it, and now I have a hole here. Now, this sits over that, and I've got a nice flat plate. Okay, I'll just show you this. Okay, so my oil comes down this centre one. Not that it's overly centred, but my oil comes down this smaller pipe and drips in here. Air can travel around the outside of that if I let it. Okay, so I just put that under there, and that's it. And the oil just drips in here, and air to feed the burning comes through these holes. Okay. Now, it's not necessarily mission critical as to the placement of the holes, but essentially they're an inch apart all the way around. And this is prototype, prototype 3 or 4, and it works really well. Okay, so I'm not saying this is the final design, but it's actually very good. It works really well, and you'll actually hear the roar of this thing when I get it going. So now, this is my drip feed. I've got a couple of valves. I have a valve on this and another one here. That one's just really on and off, and this one is to regulate the flow. Okay, and what I'm looking for is a thin, steady stream, or drip, 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 very fast drip. Now when the oil is cold, it doesn't flow so good, and when it's hot, obviously it flows a lot better, so you have to be careful. Okay, so to get this whole show on the road, I have a bit of fire lighter. I'm just going to light that and throw it in here. Okay, so, nothing special. Right, so that's in there now. That went out. Okay, another piece. Okay, and the smoke wants to kind of go up the chimney. Close that over, it does go up the chimney. Okay, I can see a little bit of oil in the bottom of this, very little. It hasn't come all the way around yet. And just to expedite the situation, this is kerosene. I'm just going to squirt a bit of kerosene in. Okay, it's just more flammable than cold oil. Alright, I'm sure you can hear that now when I close it, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, and when you hear that, you've got aggressive mixing of the gases, and that's what we want. We want the turbulent in there, so that when the oil is dripped in, it vaporizes, and there's a lot going on. So Let's check our oil flow. Now it's possible at the start to kind of put too much oil in and to actually, you know, flood the fire with, you know, the oil is combustible, but if there's enough of it and it's cold, it won't light. Now as this gets hot enough, as the temperature comes up on this, as soon as the oil gets into that burn chamber, that combustion chamber, boom, it expands and it turns to gas and ignites. And that's what I'm looking for now. So, okay, so I have a steady stream of oil going into that. I'll just show you now. Can you see it? I can't get this thing in straight, but you know, fairly small stream. But you know, it's doing its job, and you can hear it. There's a roar off that fire. So it's kind of a cross between a rocket stove and some other designs. But definitely works well. Now I could change the design of the stove. Obviously this is a minion, this is a kind of a novelty stove, and you know, it looks alright, and it works really well. And once that burn chamber, that combustion chamber gets red hot, that's it. It helps with the you know, gasification of the oil, and off it goes. So no moving parts, just dripping in there. So anyway, where am I going with this? I'm taking this one out. I'm going to make a bigger one. I might make one out of an oil drum, you know, like a standard 55 gallon oil drum, something like that. There's more surface area. I'm not stuck for space in this shed, and I could do with a little more heat in winter. Now this thing is great when you're close to it, and I could blow the air around the shed. This is single wall stuff. I did intend to get it sprayed, but I don't know if I could manage to get it done by winter. But in any case, if I can overcome the heat loss, it doesn't matter, you know. Waste oil is free or cheap, and it works really well in this. So we've no moving parts in this. You can hear it. It sounds a bit like a rocket stove, and it works a bit like a rocket stove as well. So I'm burning about 2 litres of used oil an hour. 2 litres, that's half a gallon or so. American gallons are a bit different, but it's 4.54 litres in an imperial gallon. So you can kind of work it out off that. But this thing is going to get too hot to sit beside now. It's already beginning to do that, which is fantastic. So I have 3 standard domestic oil boilers in the shed here as well. And one of them for sure is going to get converted to running hot water and so on. And that's going to happen fairly soon. Again, you know, I've done this before. If you look through my other videos, you'll see where I actually did, you know, make a lot of hot water, over 300 litres in less than an hour. And I went beyond 100 degrees centigrade, which is boiling point of water, 212 Fahrenheit. You know, I made lots of steam, and I could have produced loads more. Now I can feel this thing from here. At the top of the little unit I showed you, the little burner unit, I just put a car brake disc, dropped it on top. I'm going to show you in a second. Now the difference is it's directing the flame at my glass, my viewing port, and you know, it's smoking it up a little bit. You know, so if I put a deflector on it, I could stop that. I can feel the heat from here. The sides of it are red hot. Now this, you know, obviously this is dangerous, you know, so you got to be very careful if you're going to mess around with this. Do it in a shed, don't do it in a house, and all of that. Be very careful. You could end up, you know. Okay. Anyway, look, I'm going to show you the temperatures of this, and then I'm going to show you inside it. Here we go. So the temperature outside of it in centigrade. The highest I've got is 652. Okay, 652. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. It's a lot. This side as well. Cherry red on the sides. I'll show you that now. Okay, so that's 662. Okay, and as I say, cherry red on the side. So it's lashing out a ton of heat. So I could easily be in here in winter in a t-shirt, no problem. This thing is lashing out heat, and it's not costing anything. It costs very little to make. Everything out of scrap, a bit like that Paramotor Trike I made. You know, this is a propane tank. I got it for nothing. The glass in the eyes was second hand. It was out of something, and I bought the 2 little roundy ones, and they were like $5 each or something for the round ones. And that was just for the guy to cut them. I forget anyway, but you know, there isn't $20 in this thing here, and it's tremendous, you know, in the amount of heat it throws out. It is really good, and I've shown in previous videos how I made it, you know, so very, very good. My next one is going to be either a bigger propane tank, or it's going to be a barrel, and I think I favour a barrel. Now I have like a 55 gallon oil drum, that sort of thing. I do have a bigger propane tank, and I was thinking of putting it sideways and doing something a little different with it. Okay, so I'm going to show you inside the stove now, that brake disc that I put in. It's got a bit of a slot on it. cut out of it, and that was for a different use. That was for a different burner unit I had. But essentially it's just a carb brake disc, okay? Nothing special about it. But what it does is it concentrates the heat within the vaporizing pot and forces the flames out along the side, which is why well look, they're after burning clean. You know, so this unit does actually burn clean, or is capable of burning clean. If you throw in too much oil, it's going to smoke. If you throw in too little oil, it's not going to burn. So there's a balance point. But once you hit that balance point, it's very good. Okay, so I'm going to give you a look. This thing is red hot. Whoa. Okay, that brake disc is absolutely cherry red. Too hot for me. So, oh, it looks melting. Jeez. Okay. Very hot on the sides. Now, when you get this thing working, you don't want to have to go near it. So you need everything set up. Some of the guys have peristaltic pumps, and some people offered me pumps as well. And thanks very much, guys. Essentially, a pump would be better than a gravity feed because it won't change. It'll pump the same volume regardless of viscosity. The problem I have with this, as it gets warmer, it flows easier, you know. It starts off gloopy and then it gets runny. When it's runny, then you have the valve set for gloopy, and then it gets runny, so there's loads going in. So I'm constantly monitoring the valve. If this bucket was further away, anyway, I'm just saying there's loads of improvements that can be made on this setup. This is just a proof of concept. It works great. I'm hopped out of it here with heat, and I'm actually going to choke it down now, let it go out. But you can see it cleaned its own glass. It's making savage heat. Okay, so there's going to be more progress and different waste oil burners on the go as well. I'm also, just a progress report on the Paramotor. A few people have asked. My engine is stuffed. I need a new cylinder head, a new piston, and some other bits and pieces. And I'm on it. I'll get to it maybe the weekend or sometime next week. I've been very busy. Okay, that's it. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please thumbs up, share, subscribe down here, and comment. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks, bye.